Hello there, I'm JinJinx.
And I'm Tuna.
And we're the Monster Hunter Math Guys. So you all should know by now that I am a Kulve Taroth main. And I was excited about the PC release for Kulve not only because our PC brethren would get to experience her, but also because we would finally get to know all of her secrets thanks to data mining.
Now, for all of you who are wondering whether hitting Katie's body in Area 4 deals horn damage, the answer is no. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Bye!
Okay, yeah, that's probably not a satisfactory answer. Yes, we have 100% confirmed that the only way to damage the horn HP is by hitting the horns. However, to mathematically establish this as fact, we have to know a few things.
That's why in this video we'll be covering: what are Katie's exact health pools? How do these health pools work? How do we know that body damage doesn't count? Is there a point to hitting the body at all? What is the horn HP at different pursuit levels?
As well as a fun few other tidbits we have learned from the PC data miners and testers. Speaking of which, first off, a huge thank you to Aradi147 and Hexhexhex. These two are amazing modders, data miners, and testers, and it is their testing footage that you will be seeing for the rest of this video. Links to their channels and Hex's Twitter and Nexus mods, as well as the Monster Hunter modding Discord in the description. Thank you both so much for doing the lead work that we were not able to do ourselves. Alright, so the first thing we need to establish is how much HP do the horns have. As you probably know, I did a manual counting of this many months ago. But there is a limit to how accurate manual counting can be on 4 separate recordings that each of my teammates have. Especially because it's difficult to tell whether something hits the horns or maybe the neck or maybe the hand instead. And it turns out I was a little bit off. Thanks to our PC tester friends, we now have exact counts on all 3 of Katie's horn HP pools at pursuit level 1. For the horn plating, it is 5,500. For the horn chip, it is 8,160. For the horn break, it is 33,600. Which means that my manual counting was about 3,000 off between the horn chip and the horn break. Not too bad.
Now you may be thinking that it's possible that the health numbers are a little bit lower than that. After all, if a horn HP break is at 30k, 33,000 is more than enough to break it, right? Well, Hex has us covered.
In this test, he reduced his damage on both ammos by 2. So instead of 8,160, the first ammo was 8,158. As you can see, the first shot is not enough to chip the horns. It was 2 damage short, so it took a second shot. As for the second ammo, instead of 33,600, it was 33,598. And same thing with the horn break, it was 2 damage short, so it took a second shot to break the horns.
This test reveals something else interesting. Each of the horn stages has separate HP pools from the others. What this means is overdamaging one horn stage does not apply damage into the next.
So let's do a little math. So on Hex's first shot, he deals 8,158 damage. His second shot that chips also deals 8,158 damage, for a total of 16,316. Let's say that theoretically, overdamaging the horn chip carried over to the horn break HP. This means that 8,156 damage would carry over. The next shot deals 33,598 damage. This brings the total damage to 41,754, well over the 33.6 thousand total horn break HP. But this shot doesn't break the horns, the next one does. The only explanation for this is that overdamaging the horn chip HP does not carry over to the horn break HP. They have separate HP bars.
Now that we've established both the horn health pools and that overdamaging doesn't carry over, we can explain why we know for certain that body damage does not affect the horn break health pool.
For the sake of thoroughness, we will be covering both situations for dealing body damage in Area 4. In other words, before and after the horn chip. First off, let's cover before the horn chip. So in this run, Aradi is using normal ammo that deals over 9,000 damage to each body part per shot. He starts off by breaking the tail and then proceeds to shoot the chest, the front legs, the back legs, so he hits pretty much everything except for the horns. This goes on for about 3 minutes. Of course, we're not going to include the entire footage in here, the link will be in the description if you want to see it. So at the end, he shoots his normal ammo out of the head, dealing 7,867 damage per shot. After this first shot, the horn chip HP is only 293. If any of the damage he dealt earlier counted, then it would chip now. However, it takes 2 shots. Now he lands 4 more shots on the head, totaling 31,468 damage. This leaves only 2,132 horn HP left. If any of the over 50, 60, 70,000 damage he dealt during those 3 minutes counted, then the horns should break here. But it takes 1 more shot. Next up, let's look at body damage after chipping the horns. So in this run, Aradi has already chipped the horns before Area 4. He once again spends several minutes just shooting the body, the tail, the legs, everything. Over the course of doing this, he easily lands over 200 to 300,000 damage on the body. Then he lands 2 thorn pods on the head just to make sure it won't break right away. Then he melees the head for 20,889 damage. Then he lands 3 shots on the head for 2,458 damage. We can actually tell this 4th shot misses the head because it has a different damage number at 2,949. He lands 3 more shots, 1 out of crit range, dealing 197. Now let's add up all the damage to the horns. So the thorn pods did 73 damage total. The melee was 20,889. We have 5 shots totaling at 12,290, and 1 out of crit range shot at 197. This brings our total to 33,449. Out of the 33,600 HP, this leaves 151 left. If any of the 200,000 plus damage to the body counted, this shot should definitely have broken the horns. However, it takes 1 more shot to break them.
So now you may be wondering, well, is there any point to hitting Katie's body? The answer is no, unless you're hitting the legs.
Or unless Katie is standing on 2 legs.
So we used to think that body damage built up trips. It turns out we were wrong.
My bad.
They can cause her to flinch, but that's not all too useful. This means that our previous statement about the ice light bowgun is now incorrect.
Because the damage to the body from the ice light bowgun does not help with trips, it's pretty much useless in a pursuit level 1 hunt.
But for the sake of being thorough, let's cover each of the body parts. In this run that Aradi did, he focuses the chest exclusively with modded rapid-fire stickies. These dealt 38,000 per shot, so unsurprisingly, each one got a flinch. He lands 6 chest flinches in a row, but not a single one becomes a trip.
Next up, we know for sure the tail cannot trip KT. Aradi in this run is using modded Spread 3, Sticky 3, and Slicing rapid-fire ammo that deals 12 to 32,000 damage per ammo. So each shot is more than enough to flinch her tail, and he lands over 20 tail-based flinches. He does get a trip in here towards the end, but it happens when he accidentally shoots a back leg.
Which brings us to our next part. You can trip Katie by hitting her legs. In the previous run we looked at, Katie's back legs got flinched 4 times, and on that 4th flinch, she tripped.
We don't have enough testing data to say this conclusively, so take it with a grain of salt. But from the footage we have looked over, this pattern is consistent. Every 4th back leg flinch becomes a trip.
Which isn't ideal. Practically speaking, that's a huge time and damage investment for a trip. Not worth it. However, it seems like every other front leg flinch becomes a trip, which is much more reasonable. It's still better to hit the horns every moment you can, but the front legs are your next best option if you can't.
Now for a very interesting one. You can trip KT when she is standing only on her back legs. This is, for example, how the pod KO works, but it turns out that anytime she is on her back legs only, you can trip her by hitting her enough.
Most notably is Katie's body slam attack.
With the exception of the Red Room Lava breath attack she does when she enrages. That is an uninterruptible animation for KT. Finally, there is one more way to trip KT, from flinching her by hitting her in the head. This one has been a known quantity for a while, but thanks to the PC testers, we now know that the flinch threshold is around 8,000 damage. The second of these 8,000 damage flinches becomes a trip. However, in case you do not know how flinch mechanics work in Monster Hunter World, if you trigger a flinch during a CC like a para, KO, or mount, it resets the flinch threshold without triggering it. That means even if you deal 8,000 damage during a CC chain, you will not be triggering a flinch. Probably the most annoying part of this is that Katie's flinch animation actually overrides normal trips like a pod KO. We're sure you've experienced this at some point where you had her flinch out of a pod KO you landed.
Either way, CC chaining is still the best way to break Katie's horns. But now you know why that situation can happen. Next up is how much health Katie has at different pursuit levels.
Hex has done a phenomenal job with this and found the horn chip HP and horn break HP at each pursuit level. So first off, we know the base value for the horn chip is 4080 and the horn break is 16800. These values are found within the game files. Pursuit level 1 has a 200% modifier on this, as we showed earlier from Hex's testing. Now for pursuit level 2, the modifier is 100%. That means that the horn chip is 4080. And 16800 for the horn break HP. Pursuit level 3 has 2/3 of the base value, which is 2720 for the horn chip and 11200 for the horn break HP. Pursuit level 4 has 40% of the base value at 1632 for the horn chip and 6720 for the horn break HP. Pursuit level 5 has 1/3 of the base value at 1360 for the horn chip and 5600 for the horn break HP. Finally, pursuit level 6 has a quarter of the base value, with the horn chip at 1020 HP and the horn break HP being 4200.
Finally, we learned one last thing from PC testers about Katie. While the tail can be damaged before Area 4, it cannot be broken until Area 4. In this run, Aradi lands about 40,000 damage in modded slicing ammo on the tail. And then, in Area 4, he breaks it with a capture net.
LOL. This has really no practical use, but it is an interesting tidbit of information. And that about does it, guys. That's pretty much everything we have learned from the PC testers about KT. Another huge thanks to HexHexhex and Aradi147 for all of the testing they have done for us. Without them, this video would not have been possible. And now that this video is out, the community can finally learn to stop hitting KT's body. It doesn't do anything.
Check us out on our streams that we do almost daily. You can watch Jinx on YouTube, and you can catch me on Twitch. I'm currently giving away a couple of Amazon gift cards in celebration of becoming an affiliate. Come say hi and follow me for a chance to win. I'll be picking the winners at random this Sunday, November 18th at noon Central. You can also follow us on Twitter, where we post updates about things that interest us.
And come check out our new Discord, the Mathalos Nest. We have a very active community of hunters always looking to group up. And if you learned something new from the video, be sure to leave it a like and leave a comment telling us what you learned. Next up, we have a video coming out covering Arc-Tempered Xeno on console because we know a lot of people are struggling with him. And after that, we'll be getting back to our Monster Hunter meta series for console.
So be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon if you want to be notified for that next video.
Happy hunting, hunters! Tuna and I will see you in the next one.
Bye!